John here, and today I'm going to give you my top 7 favorite movies that start with the letter J, using the first letter of my first name. Figured why not? It'd be a little fun here, or something different, and now I'd be interested to see if other people will respond and make their own top 7 or top 10. Why is it not a top 10 here? I wanted to narrow it down a little bit, so I'm going to give you my top 7 favorite films that start with the letter J. And starting at number 7, Judgment Night. If you haven't seen Judgment Night, go check out that movie. It's a great thriller, definitely underrated. Great cast. You have Emilio Estevez in the film, Stephen Dorff, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven. Dennis Leary's your bad guy in the film. It has a great soundtrack. Stephen Hopkins, who directed Predator 2, directed that film. And yeah, Judgment Night, I need to go back and rewatch it again. Again, it's a great thriller, with a straightforward premise. Yeah, so Judgment Night for me is at number 7. Number 6, Joker from 2019. Yeah, I really love Joker. Joaquin Phoenix gives a great performance. And I know they're working on a sequel, but I don't know how that's going to turn out. I hear that it's going to be like more of a musical, but, to me, I think the story was, all you could do was one movie, with that story. I don't know how you're really going to flesh out that story, with a sequel, but, I think it's already been made and it's coming out next year. I just think that all you needed was one movie. Joaquin Phoenix, again, does a great job. Robert De Niro, he's in the film for a little bit. For what he has in the film, he's good. And I like some of the songs that they use in the film. It's a dark movie, at times, disturbing. And again, Joaquin Phoenix does a great job. And Joker from 2019 for me is number 6. Number 5, Jumanji. I always have a soft spot for this movie. To me, it's a classic. Robin Williams, I miss a lot. And you only needed one Jumanji. You didn't need sequels with Dwayne Johnson and Jack Black and Kevin Hart. Those movies, to me, don't exist in my mind. They're not needed. They weren't needed to begin with. The first Jumanji is the best. You can't beat the first movie, the original. And because now, you can't really... You mention Jumanji and people are going to think the sequels. But the 1995 film is the best. You can't beat that movie. Robin Williams does a great job in the film. Yeah, I will agree, some of the special effects, like the computer early CGI stuff, the early CGI doesn't really hold up too well. But when there's practical, it works. And the story is very imaginative, the plot of the film with this board game coming to life. And, Joe Johnston directing the film, who directed, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and The Rocketeer. And later on, directing the first Captain America movie with Chris Evans. And so, yeah, Jumanji, I love that movie. Great score as well. There's so many things that I could talk about and gush about, when it comes to Jumanji. And I have the Blu-ray. Unfortunately, not a lot of features. I think there's like a behind the scenes to look at the new film, but, I don't give a crap about the new movies. I think there's like an episode or two from the cartoon, and maybe a commentary or two, but that's all that I remember. I do think the film deserves much more, in terms of special features. And I know Robin's passed away, but they could do so much more for that movie. But yeah, Jumanji is a 90s classic, and that to me is at number 5. Number 4, if I had to pick one John Wick movie, John Wick Chapter 2. I saw this in the theater. Unfortunately, I didn't see the first movie when that came out, but it wasn't too long before Chapter 2 that I watched the first John Wick movie, and I'm like, okay, I have to see Chapter 2. And to me, out of the John Wick movies, it is my favorite. I love everything about the movie. Yeah, the villain is nothing to write home about, but Keanu Reeves is great. A lot of great action scenes and choreography. The whole third act, with the room of mirrors, I really enjoyed that. And a lot of great gunplay, great action. To me, John Wick, I love John Wick Chapter 3. I was going back and forth between the second and third one because I love both Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Because at first I wrote down Chapter 2 and I erased the 2, and I'm like, which do I love more, 2 or 3? But, for me, John Wick Chapter 2 is my favorite. And so, yeah, if I had to pick one John Wick movie, John Wick Chapter 2 is at number 4. Number 3, Jacob's Ladder from 1990. Yeah, I really love Jacob's Ladder. I want to get the film on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD somewhere, but yeah, what more can you say about Jacob's Ladder? Tim Robbins does a great job. You really feel bad for his character. I really love the atmosphere of the film. There's a lot of scenes that really are disturbing. Just you can't make out. There's just a lot of scenes here throughout the movie that is freaky, and yeah, for people that haven't seen Jacob's Ladder, I do recommend that you go check out that movie. I know they did a remake. I'm not watching it. Just go watch the 1990 movie. But yeah, I love the story. I love the atmosphere of the film. It's very creepy and so much more. I've seen it. I've seen it like at this point, a few times. But every time I talk about the movie, I want to go back and rewatch Jacob's Ladder. But yeah, Jacob's Ladder. I think even a while back when I did my top 20 favorite movies, that film was up there. It may have been like in the top 10 through 20 placement. I forgot which, but yeah, Jacob's Ladder is one of my favorite movies. It's up there in the top 20 or 25 because I just love the aura of the film and the atmosphere, a lot of the dark subject matter, and Tim Robbins. Yeah, Jacob's Ladder is great. So that is number 3. Number 2, coming in at number 2 here, I think this is no surprise, Jurassic Park. You got to go with, to me, I just love Jurassic Park. I think, looking back when I made that top 20 of favorite films, whenever that video, I want to say I made that video back in 21 or 22. But Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies, and I don't think it's on the list, but I think it would be up there the more I think about it. I love Jurassic Park, and it's such a great movie. It's a classic of the 90s. Steven Spielberg directed it, great cast, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and there's so many, things that I could talk about here and really go in depth with the movie. I want to save that more for a review. Who hasn't seen Jurassic Park? It's one of those movies that I could sit here for an hour and talk about the film and really go in deep here with the film. But I want to save that for more of a, like a review or a commentary and all that stuff. So Jurassic Park is at number 2, and at number 1, my favorite film, and this is actually my favorite film of all time. And again, to no surprise here to anyone, but number 1, Jaws. Jaws is my favorite film of all time. And it just happens to start with the letter J. But yeah, I love this movie. I love the cast. Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, Steven Spielberg directing it, directing the film, and There's a lot of great thrills, great suspense, great adventure, great rapport between characters. When you had blue collar characters, great score, iconic score by John Williams. And yeah, I mean, it's a film that I'll definitely will be rewatching soon here. Every summer I go back and rewatch, the first two or three Jaws movies. Jaws 4, let's not talk about. But I do, every summer I go back and I rewatch, the first two or three Jaws movies. But the first one is the best one, and it's a timeless movie. So yeah, number one is Jaws, and that is my top 7 favorite movies that start with the letter J. As for honorable mentions here, I'll mention 3 movies here. JFK from 1991, great movie, well directed, great cast, one of my favorite dramas. And yeah, JFK definitely is an honorable mention. Another one, Jack's Back with James Spader. Yeah, I saw that for the first time like late last year, or like at the end. I think it was either in December of last year or January of this year. But yeah, Jack's Back I really enjoy. That's another film that has a great atmosphere. James Spader does a good job as the lead. And yeah, that's one that not many people have heard about, but I do recommend. It's underrated to me. And lastly, Jingle All the Way. Yeah, Jingle All the Way with Arnold and Sinbad. One of my favorite Arnold comedies. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. So yeah, I wanted to mention those as honorable mentions. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.